this is the way to have multiple dicks for me, you know, all on the same guy.
See, that's what I need to start off my year with 3 dicks.
With multiple dicks.
Everyone, welcome back to Romancing the Monsters. I'm Em.
Hi, I'm S.
I'm Seff.
And I should really introduce myself as I'm a fucking Maas. That's who I am. Starting off 2022, great. First time we're recording this year, and I had forgotten that we were recording. To be honest, I was heading to bed. It's literally 7 o'clock p.m. To be fair, I have got a very early start tomorrow, but I had completely forgotten that we were recording today. So, heads up, might be a mess, will probably be a mess. But you know what? It's our best of 2021 episode, so...
And you know what? If they've stuck around this long, they know we're a mess.
Yeah.
So, like I said, best of 2021. Also, towards the end, after we've gone through our lists, we will also share with you some of the things that we're excited for in 2022. TV shows, movies, books, whatever, you name it. Yeah. Who wants to start? Not me, because I'm not prepared.
Okay, so should I just, list what I want to talk about? Like, my best of 2021? Or should I just,
you know what?
do
You do
it
it however you want to do it. Because here's the thing. Most of the things on my list are things that we actually have talked about on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do it the way that we have done it in the past, where it's like we give, a description of the book, blah,
Okay.
blah, blah, blah. Like, how about we just go into, what we loved about the book and yeah, if it's something that we've not talked about before, then maybe,
Give it
explain
little
it briefly,
synopsis.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start things off with a bang. And I'm
Ooh.
going to say, House of Earth and Blood or House of Blood and Earth? Crescent City, guys.
Wait, what?
Guys.
That's one of your favorites?
It's a highlight for me, and it is a favorite in terms of the relationship.
But you rated it 3 stars.
Yeah, 3 stars. I feel like it was a solid read. It had me bored at some points, but overall, it was still a solid read.
You were bored? Oh my god.
No, we're not allowed to talk about this, actually. So
No.
S and I are just going to close our ears.
No, that's all I
not
wanted
gonna
to say. And I just want to say what I liked about it in terms of just I liked the character of Bryce. I thought she was a strong female character. Sarah J. Maas, she knows how to write them. But it's a highlight for me in 2021 because of how much I struggled and how much it kind of scared me to read that book. Because I just honestly couldn't get into it. I've tried twice and I couldn't get into it. And then, spoiler, we will have an episode on this book and on the podcast sometime soon. That was the only reason I pushed myself through it. I'm so happy that I had, that extra push because I don't know if I would have picked it up otherwise again. But yeah, it was on my list because it was a highlight for me.
We had this running joke that Crescent City, the first one, which we don't know the title of, neither does anyone else in the fandom. But we had a running joke which was it's our monster. This is our monster.
Yeah.
This book. So you know what? We didn't start 2022 with our monsters, We've cleared that. New monsters can come our way, but we've dealt with that one.
Yeah, it's laid to rest.
Yeah. Well, we need to record that first, but yeah.
True.
Then for sure, yeah. All right. Do you want to go through all of yours, or do we do as we do it, one each?
I feel like it'll be fairly quick. We can do all at once. I did go and then you go and then.
Let's do it differently. It's 2022,
Yeah.
girl. We're
trying
changing
something
it up.
different. If you guys don't want to hear me talk, skip. I'm kidding.
Right? It's I really hate when it's her.
Yeah, right.
God.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and my next mention, I feel like this is something S would talk about, so I don't want to take it away from her. But I mean, Bonds That Tie series by Bree.
Oh no, go ahead. I feel like I've talked about that series like.
But is it on your list?
No, it's not on my list.
Oh, okay then.
So go for it.
Okay. So I feel like the whole audience, not audience, our listeners, the few of you, that it was a struggle to get us to read a reverse harem, and it was never something that appealed to me. But then S really sold this whole series, picked it up, loved it, and it's about this strong female. Like, I feel like I have a theme here. It's all about strong females. She just like has these 5 men, like they're her bonds, and she's run from them, and they don't know why, and they automatically hate her for it once they find her. And it just like, for me, it was just more like the shock that I was reading a reverse harem, and like I thoroughly enjoyed them so far, the ones that are out. So yeah, I don't know where else to go with that besides if you're looking for a reverse harem and you haven't picked them up yet, I would suggest reading this one as your first one. It was a good first try for me. It's a good one to pop your reverse harem cherry.
Mm-hmm. I love that the running theme here is like you pushing yourself to read things that are scary.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a great thing, actually, to make a list.
Yeah, 2021 was the year of like firsts in terms of like things I was uncomfortable with, and it ended up working. I loved it.
Well, I love that for you.
Was it on your list?
On mine? No.
Shocking.
Why?
No, because I mean, like, it was another big monster for you as well.
Right. Well, I didn't go the intellectual route with this and was like all philosophical, like, oh, this is how I pushed myself this year. I just put the books that I thought belonged on the list. So, well, I mean, it sure was facing my own monster. Like, it wasn't on my list, the Bonds That Tie series, but for sure it pushed me out of my comfort zone, which is a good thing to do once in a while. It's as romance readers, we love to stay in our lanes and just continue on reading the same things that we love because we know we love them and that's what it's about. But sometimes you push yourself and then you discover that perhaps that little corner of Romancelandia you didn't think you could like, maybe there's room for you in that little corner. So.
And now I have so many reverse harems on my, my to be read list, and I'm excited for 2022.
I'm so proud. I'm so excited, girls.
Oh, also, I don't know if you mentioned it, but we will have an episode coming your way in 2022 for books 1 to 3 in this series. Possibly, hopefully, books 4 to 6 coming later in the year, but you have that to look forward to. So get on reading it. Carve your own little space in the reverse harem corner of Romancelandia. Yeah. Everyone's cool here.
All right, so this next one is a TV show, and S is also on this train as well, and it's Yellowstone. Yes. I literally have been living under a rock, and I know the show's so popular, and like everyone and their mother is watching it right now. So I decided on the Christmas break that I was just going to try an episode out, because like I'm not really into ranchers or like cowboys or whatever. It's not something that I was interested in to really watch. Put it on, and I could not stop watching. I started like season 1, episode 1, like last week, and I'm already almost done season 4.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's insane. It's so addicting and like just so fast paced, and it's like all about like the family drama, which I feel like is, I don't know, I just feel like it sells, and it's just like, it's fun to watch. So basically, let me tell you like a general idea of what the story is. So it's about like this family, the Dutton family, who own this massive ranch. They have like cowboys, and they have like cows and cattle and like whatever. And they're just like a really powerful family in this town. And so basically they have a daughter, so John is the dad, and his wife had died. They had a daughter, Beth, who is like this strong, like fierce bitch who like doesn't take no shit. I love her too, right? And then you have Jamie, who's like this lawyer, like goody two shoes guy, which is like her brother. And then you got Casey, who's like the guy that was like thrown out of his house by his dad. His dad's not a good man. And it's kind of him you know, finding his place in the world after being kicked out of home, like out of his house. He married a woman that's indigenous, and like they have a child, and like it's like kind of like what they face as well. And yeah, it's just like it's a good story, but they also highlight the issues that indigenous people face, and like spoiler s they even cover like missing women, and like how no one cares to look for the missing indigenous women. And it's just like it makes me cry sometimes too. I just feel like the show is so emotional.
Yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend. Want to try something new, and ranchers and
some of the guys that work in the bunkhouse are really hot.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Those cowboys, guys.
I told them, I was like, now that you girls are watching this show, I bet you're gonna come on in the chat and be like, oh, I'm reading this super angsty like cowboy or western romance.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick that's kind of off topic, but like I'm reading a book right now by Cate C. Wells. It's Hitting the Wall, I think it's called. So yeah, I'm reading Hitting the Wall by Cate C. Wells, and it's like a secret baby trope. He didn't know that he
Sired
he has
baby.
Yeah, it's secret baby. He didn't know that he got this girl pregnant, and her whole family, they're like this powerful, influential family, like the Duttons in the, like, I guess the South, and they kind of pay her, or not even pay her, they just basically tell her to leave town and never come back, and they threatened her with, like, getting her uncle fired off the ranch. Not her uncle, oh my gosh, I can't even speak, her grandpa, and, like, his uncle paid her off to, like, have an abortion. And so, like, 6 years later, he sees that he has a child, and, like, they're, like, this really powerful family that have the ranch, that have, like, this, like, strong presence, like the Duttons and Yellowstone. So I'm, like, I'm kind of, like, reading
Are
fanfic,
you
but
reading
not
it because
really.
of the show?
You didn't tell me they were ranchers, first of all.
Sorry, they're ranchers. They got the horses and everything.
They got the horses. Love how
Yeah.
you said that. They got the
Like,
horses.
it's
They're
good.
ranchers, clearly.
It just, like, it's feeding what I want right now, you know? Like, it's feeding me the Yellowstone-ness that I wanted. With it being a separate story. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I find that, like, unconsciously, you gravitate towards similar books or media.
Yeah.
Like, I do that too. Like, I'll like, I never read things that have anything to do with religion, really. But then I read one book where the girl was the daughter of a priest, and then the book that I read after that was also the guy was a priest. So I was like, what is going on? Like, why am I gravitating unconsciously towards all these books? Like, you just get into patterns. I find that fascinating. And it's like, it's not like you mean to do that. You just happen to do that.
No, and it just so happened. I didn't even know Hitting the Wall was like Southern rancher type story. Like, I didn't know that. And he's like a police officer, so like he's not part of the ranch, but his family is, and he grew up there. But yeah, no, I just like I didn't even know that, so that's fun fact. And then one last thing on my list is a Turkish show, guys. I cannot end this discussion without a Turkish show being mentioned.
We would feel like maybe something's wrong with you. I'd be like, where is Seff and what have you done with her?
Yeah.
I know. I've talked about a lot, but like this one I haven't mentioned at all because I literally started it like whenever I'm not watching Yellowstone, I'm watching this show. And it's called Destan, which is basically about this girl. She's like a warrior. She witnessed, it's a period drama. So she witnessed her father being killed by like, I guess a king equivalent. So this is before Islam, and like before Islam like kind of got introduced to the country of Turkey. So their king killed her father, and the main guy also witnessed the same guy. So like the king's son witnessed the king killing his mother. And so like they're both kind of like orphans in a sense, and his father was going to kill him as well because because he was the son of a traitor, and the child fainted and then kind of made it seem like he just no longer was like present in his brain. And so like 15 years have passed, and like he's more so just like living through the motions, and like he hasn't spoken a word since. He doesn't even like look at anyone, and like the main girl is like her goal is to get revenge and kill the king that killed her father. And so she sees this guy again that's grown up, and like they kind of have this connection, but like again he's not talking. And I should also mention he's like disabled, so his arm I don't know what had happened, but he walks with a limp, and his arm, he only has one that's actually he uses to do things. But anyways, so basically what happens is that she ends up becoming a slave in the kingdom, and she becomes his slave, and that's where I'm at this point. But it's more so like this one stood out for me because she's like his protector, because she's like known as like the claw to the two-headed wolf or whatever. So he's basically like the child, the product of like two different kingdoms, and she's gonna be like his warrior. So I love that dynamic, and I love that she's the one that's protecting him.
Sounds angsty, like all of them.
I know, I love it. But yeah, anyways, that one's really good. It's really capturing my attention right now, and I don't know, I just love how different it is.
Honestly, I just hope that if our listeners are looking into starting Turkish shows, like I just hope that they know they can go to you.
Right?
And you
like
will,
I'm always
you will find
here.
something for them. Like you have so many different ones. I feel like you could find one for just about anyone on the planet.
Yeah.
Based on their needs, their wants, their moods.
Honestly, yeah, there's assassin ones, there's mafia ones, there's historical ones, there's ones where they die at the end. Like, just let me know, you know? I'm here.
There you go. That's your public announcement.
Yeah, my PSA.
She's the local Turkish show connoisseur.
Yeah.
I should change my name on
Right.
Twitter.
Yeah. The unofficial one is just better though. The weird dick connoisseur was just
Oh my
too
gosh.
good. Well, actually, before we move on, I do actually want to ask you just briefly, like, how was your reading year in 2021? Obviously, we carried over a pandemic from 2020 to 2021, which I don't remember if that affected your reading at all. Maybe it did in 2020. Did it still affect you in 2021? Like, I just want to know, like, how was your reading overall?
I struggled a lot, I would say. I mean, like, I know the amount of books you read that, like, doesn't really, like, reflect your reading experience, but I only read, like, 40-something books, and I usually read, like, over 100. So I really struggled last year, and I don't know if it's just because, like, the pandemic, or maybe I just wasn't giving enough time to reading. I don't know what it was. But I did have a lull in terms of, like, I think it was, like, a few months, actually, where I wasn't reading at all because I just couldn't find anything that interested me at all. I struggled, but I'm hoping 2022 is better.
I feel like you started your year with a slump, if I remember correctly.
I did. I'm hoping I don't start off with a slump this year, but I mean, I did pick up a book yesterday, so I mean, if that's saying anything,
That's good.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Right? Ass was having some negativity over on Twitter. I was having none of it. None of it. I said, not with that attitude, Miss Ma'am. Not with that attitude. She was like, I had one bad book to start my year off with, and she was like, that's it. It's all going to be a bad year. I was like, no,
Because
Miss
it
Ma'am.
feels like that because I feel like if I'm going to have a good reading year, I have to end the year with a bang and start it with a bang. But I didn't. I ended my year with a bad book, and I feel like I'm going towards I'm starting a book, and I feel like it's not going to be a winner, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of sticks to, like, what if everything else, which I hope not, let's knock on wood, but
Yeah,
what if everything else becomes shit and I get in a slump and... No. Anyways.
No, you got this. You know what always fix a reading slump?
What?
Reverse harem?
No.
Mpreg?
Yeah, maybe. But just, like, good, like, different weird dick. For me, it works for me.
I think that's what I
works.
need. I need something that I haven't read yet. Something weird, something kind of smutty, something cute. Just
How about Married to the Birdman or...
yeah.
I want to read that. That's on my list.
We've never read about a Birdman before.
Yeah, so that's what I need. I need different.
Besides
So,
the Birdman, did you all read House of Night or whatever by PC Cast?
No.
You didn't read about the Birdman in there?
No.
House of
He
Night?
got a full-on love story with Stevie Ray, and, like, which is the best friend of the main girl, and, like, he was, like, an enemy. Like, he was a bad guy, and he gets a girl, and, like, damn, that was a good romance, guys.
That book?
Marked.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god,
Yes.
that's old.
Yes, girl, I know.
2007 old.
That was my first Birdman, so I had a good, like, first experience.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'm ready for my next good experience.
I guess my
Yeah.
only experience with Birdman would be Howl's Moving Castle. He's kind of a bird.
Yeah.
He
bird
is.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
And he
hot.
was a hot bird guy.
So, yeah. So, I'm not opposed.
Me either.
But I agree with Seff. Maybe you need to go like weird or read something you've never read before. Or I was gonna say maybe you need something really spicy.
Well, whatever Rex you girls have, send it my way, and I'll give them a go.
I recently read, and I don't know, this is probably not a rec actually, but I recently read a book, and I didn't tell you guys about this. I read a book where the guy had 3 dicks. Not 1, not 2, 3.
Why would you withhold that information from us?
Right?
Right? I was like, this is probably like a crime or something that I'm committing here. He had, like, his tongue was a dick, and then he had 2 dicks. So he was fucking her in all the holes at the same time. I was loving my life.
What's the title?
This is what I mean. Like, this is the way to have multiple dicks for me, you know, all on the same guy.
See, that's what I need to start off my year with 3 dicks.
With multiple dicks?
What's the title, please?
That one was called, I want to say like Bound in Stone or something. It's like a gargoyle. It reminded me a lot of At No Men, which I mentioned in our most recent Catch Up and Chill. It reminded me a little bit of that, but like erotica, you know? But like, yeah, I liked it.
By Stephanie Simpson?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I have one more rec for you, and then we can move on. And I mentioned it already to you, but I just think it needs a re-mention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's The Mates of the Kaluma by Ella Maven.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really short, but like they're really good alien books, and they're dicks.
Is that the Hunted by the Assassin? Is that series, or that's something else?
Yeah, so the second one's called Protected by the Alien Bodyguard, and the first one, yes, is Hunted by the Alien Assassin. Yes, they're dicks. When I tell you, they're different.
But what does that mean?
I can't talk about it because when I first read it, I was like, wait, what? They do what?
Do I have it on my list already?
I have this one on KU. It's on my Kindle. I could start it anytime.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what is a different dick, you know?
I mean, I think it's because I was reading Normal Dick. Why are we talking about dick?
We're us, all right?
Anyway, so I think I was reading Normal Dick, and then like this one just like came at me, and I was like, damn.
With a weird dick.
And it fed what I needed it to feed at that time.
That hair, though.
Yeah.
They're hot. Yeah.
That's the dick she needed at the time.
Yeah, it was good dick.
Thank you. I need good dick in my life.
We all do, girl. We all do.
All right.
Oh my god. All right. So, should I go next?
Sure.
Yeah, if you're ready, go for it.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying that this was actually 2021 was actually my best reading year of my life. I don't know why that is. I find that the busier I am in my life, in all areas of my life, the more I read. And that's like something that's true for all things.
That's interesting though.
Yeah, it's just when I've got too much time on my hands, then I revert back to my like procrastinating, lazy ass self.
Okay.
But when I've got a lot to do and, you know, I've got a lot on my plate right now in my life, then suddenly I'm like, oh, but I've got to make time for this. So I do, and then I actually read. So I ended up reading a lot of books. But that being said, I read a lot of good books this year, but I didn't read a lot of like amazing 5 stars, which if you know anything about me, if you've been here a minute, you know I do not give 5 stars, you know, just like that. That's just not who I am. Some people be like 600 fucking 5 stars books a year, and then like they have 6 stars because like they've had to create another system, another rating system because they've given too many 5 stars. That's just not me.
No.
I am a little too strict probably about like what I give 5 stars to. I'm not perfect, I will admit. But that being said, I did read a couple books that I just felt deserved a little mention.
That's good.
Sorry.
To be honest though, this year Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say this year, I feel like, not this year, last year, 2021, I feel like I have not been giving 5 stars. Maybe just 1 or like 2. I don't know. I did not have a good reading year, guys.
Aw.
Anyways,
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I know.
2022, new year, new you. New, I don't know.
I hope I'm not reverting back to like high school bitchy stuff phase.
Oh, God.
Not her. No, thank you.
She's not welcome here. She can't stay with us.
No.
She can't sit with us. To be fair, though, you haven't met early blogging days Marge.
Really?
She was bitchier than you were. Oh God. Yeah,
Okay.
let's never do that ever again. Okay. So on my list, I wanted to start with a book that. Well, okay. Here's the weird thing. I was going through the books that I've read this year, and I don't know about you, but 2021 felt like it was literally blink and you miss it. But then I was looking at the books that I've read technically in 2021, apparently, and I was like, what the fuck? That feels like that was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So a lot of these books I'm like, wow, that was this year? Huh? So one of them, it's The Song of David by Amy Harmon. So like
yeah.
I remember mentioning The Law of Moses in one of our Catch Up and Chill? Question mark? Or oh no, wait, I read it for one of
Face Your
the
Monster.
Oh,
Face
yeah.
Your Monsters, right. Yeah. But in that episode I was like, or in the following Catch Up and Chill, I was like, oh, I actually read The Song of David right after.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to talk about it because I was like, I know it's going to make it into my best of 2021 list, so I'll keep it for that. Now months have passed and I'm like, what was that book about again? But awful memory, okay? It's not the book's fault. I just have a really bad memory. But I will say about this book that it actually made me fucking bawl my fucking eyes out. So I am not an emotional reader, okay?
Mhm.
I do not cry easily, though I will say I'm becoming softer with the years and the age. But this book had me fucking crying. Yeah, so you have the characters. So you have David and Millie, and Millie was just hired at David's bar to be like a stripper, and well, actually, we call him Tag. He doesn't use David, but that's his real name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he owns a bar. She was just hired as a stripper, and Millie actually is blind. And so at first, a lot of his employees they hired her as a joke, which Tag was not aware of, but they hired her as a joke because they were like, haha, a blind stripper, how funny. I don't know why they thought that was funny, and like Tag doesn't understand why they thought that was funny, which he fired their fucking asses. As he should.
As he should.
Right. Yeah. So, but you have this like friendship that blossoms between Millie and Tag because he does feel very protective of her. She also has like a younger brother who she needs to take care of because their parents are dead, and he's autistic, so he's obviously quite a lot to handle as well. And Millie is like, what men would want to take this on, take me on and then take on my brother, because obviously he's going to be a huge part of my life for the rest of my life. Like, he's all that I'm all that he has. But anyway, Tag is like he just has the hugest heart. Like, he is just a wonderful fucking man. And I remember reading this book and being like, we read a lot of fucked up guys. We read about a lot of fucked up guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of bad
yeah.
guys. Guys that were, like, yummy in fiction, but then in real life, run the fuck away, girl.
Yeah.
You know? But Tag is, like, genuinely, like, the kind of men that you're like, I just pray to God that you fucking exist somewhere out there. Like, you are genuinely the best sort of man, and, like, every woman deserves a man like him type of thing. Like, he would be the perfect lover, the perfect father, the perfect husband, just like perfect,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he just genuinely put a smile on my face. And then, I don't want to spoil the book, but like I said, friendship becomes romantic relationships. And something happens to Tag, and then he disappears. And the story is essentially Millie is listening to tapes that he has recorded, retelling the story of how they met. And through that, she's trying to figure out, with the help of Moses from book 1, what the fuck happened? Where is he? And it's just really fucking devastating. And I'm not gonna lie, I care about our listeners, and so I will say this. It is not a HEA, okay? Please know that if you're ever gonna read this book. But it left me, like I said, crying. I just grew to care so much for this character. And yeah, it was just a beautiful story. And if you know anything about Anya Harmon's books, then you know, like, she just writes just emotionally intense stories that you don't realize how much of an impact they're having on you, because she does it so subtly, but then by the end of the book you're just like hit with everything. You're just like, wow, that was, I felt like these characters were real, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was an incredible book. There you go. The others I will go a little bit more quickly through them, just because they're, I think, all books that I've mentioned before that we've talked about on the podcast. So, the next one is To Have and to Hold by Patricia Gaffney.
Oh, yes.
Listen, this is a bit of a touchy book. You know, I was saying, like, Tag, best man in the world, would wish him upon any woman. This is not the same story.
Not
Trigger warnings abound for this book. It is a historical romance. Don't remember the time period, but it's an incredible story a powerful story about change and how people can change, and how you only need to make the decision to change who you are. It's never too late. You know, redemption is not beyond anyone. You just need to make the choice to change, and then you need to make that choice every single day for the rest of your life to move forward and to become a better person. You just need that one moment, but then the hard part is choosing to stay that way and work on yourself. And that book was really about that, but obviously there's a lot of dark themes and scenes that happen before a certain character comes to understand that and comes to realize that he wants to change. So not for everyone, but if you are interested, Seff and I did record an episode on this book. We went really deep with that one, so it should be coming out at some point, probably in February. First week of February, I think.
Probably early February, though.
Yeah. So you have that to look forward to if you can stomach it. But to be honest, like, we weren't trying to glorify anything. We were just trying to understand and just... Yeah, it ended up being quite an interesting episode, I think, and one that I think I'll be quite proud of. I haven't listened back to it since, but I just from my memory anyway, I remember feeling like we had a really good conversation.
Yeah, I think so too. And just putting my 2 cents in, this book was really important too, with like the female character and like her growth as a person and her finding her own individuality. It was great. Like, that aspect of the story was amazing. And honestly, if you're looking for a good story on growth and like finding yourself after, you know, not having an identity for like how many years, then yeah, maybe this book could be for you. But like Marge said, triggers abound.
Next up, I put on my list another book that Seff and I talked about, The Love Hypothesis. Why? Because, by Ali Hazelwood, by the way. You probably knew that, though, because that book is fucking everywhere, but, you know.
It's everywhere.
Just for that one person who lives under a rock, there you go. But why? And the reason is, again, if you know anything about me, I have not gone back to contemporary romance in a hot minute.
Yeah.
There was just nothing in it that was kind of calling to me. And this one did, for obvious reasons. Hello, Raylo. But to be fair, like, I think it's an actually, like, really well-rounded contemporary romance that has, like, a lot of funny moments, but also, you know, important conversations about STEM and women in STEM and what can happen to people in that sphere, and, like, just what happens to people of color within that, you know, sphere, again, of academia, or just academia in general, really. It's just, I really enjoyed that book, and obviously as a Reylo, it just means a lot to me, just because I love to see these women who I've followed for years at this point, you know, ever since becoming a Reylo, and seeing just how talented they were and just how passionate they were about stories and about these characters, and to see them become published authors and have their stories be out there and make a name for themselves, and see their stories do so well, just really warms my heart. And so for that reason, I just feel like that book deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, I agree too.
I don't know why I feel the need to, like, justify why I'm
right. I know, you're like, this deserves a spot. Okay, it's a very exclusive list, but it made it.
The next one is an episode we were all on, including a special guest, the Bridge Kingdom duet by Danielle L. Jensen. One of my rare 5 stars went to the second book in that series, so you know.
I feel like that was me too. That was like one of the few 5 stars I gave.
Then why is it not on your list?
I don't know, okay? I literally forgot I read it this year, guys. I don't even know.
Anyways, I put the duet on my list because it's just a series that I've been eyeing for forever, it feels like, and I kept, like, putting it off. I was like, I don't know, like, is it worth the hype? Is it as good as people say? Blah, blah, blah. And, like, this year in particular, have really stepped into indie fantasy romance.
Mm-hmm.
I just really loved the story. I loved Laura. I loved her story. She reminded me a lot of, characters like Aelin, who from Throne of Glass, who have come to mean so much to me personally with their stories of growth and how it's okay to make mistakes. Yeah, it's okay to have flaws, and it's okay to mess up as long as you own up to your mistakes and you do the right thing at the end of the day. And
do the work, you know? Do the work to earn forgiveness.
Yeah, it was just such a story of strength of will and just determination, and I am worth it, and these people are worth it, and I choose to make the right decision, you know, to do what's right, even if it goes against everything that I've been taught, because I am now aware that I was taught wrong. So I thoroughly enjoyed that duology.
I did as well, despite the fact that I forgot that I read it in
Didn't
2021.
put it on your list.
But I enjoyed it, and if you love angst, this duet is for you for sure. Book 2 fed my love for angst. It, like, gave me everything I could have wanted.
And the 2 last things on my list, I won't go into detail about, because I know for a fact I have mentioned them on a catch up and chill somewhere at some point, so you can just go back and listen to all of those, which you should, because I think personally that they're our best episodes. But you know, if you're looking for somewhere to start, that is where you should start. Get to know us, you know. But the first one is Wild Sign by Patricia Briggs, which does that not feel like a blast from the past? I have not mentioned the Alpha and Omega series by Patricia Briggs in a hot minute.
You have not.
But do not dare forget that Charles is the love of my life, okay?
Oh, so that means Rowan is no longer the love of her life.
Shut the fuck up.
So he's free to claim then?
He's free to claim.
Good
Rowan
to know.
Whitethorn
No,
is free to claim.
Good to
No.
Yeah,
I
good to
have
know.
it
I'm gonna
on
tell G.
record.
I'm gonna text G right now.
Shut up.
And let her
Shut
know.
up. Shut up. I have it on record that I have said Charles and Rowan are literally the same men.
I don't recall.
Literally.
Sorry.
Well, you just go back and listen to her fucking catch up and chill, bitch. It's in there.
How dare you lump them together? Are they not 2 different people for you?
Yeah.
They're their own people.
It was nice to have you guys. See you next week. Hope you enjoyed. Anyways, I will not suffer through whatever they're trying to throw at me. I'm better than this.
Yeah,
I know what's
victimize
right. I know
yourself.
what's true. Yeah. Wild Sign was incredible, and Charles is the love of my life, and that's all you need to know. You should definitely try out those books and do the
See,
audiobooks.
she said it
I
again.
cannot stress that
She
enough.
said it again.
Shut the fuck up. Now, last book on my list is Morning Glory, Not Milking Farm.
I was gonna say, you read Morning Glory Milking Farm? You did not tell us.
No, Morning Glory, the one that came before Milking Farm, by Laverne Spencer. And again, mentioned that book on a Catch Up and Chill forever ago, so I won't tell you what it's about, but it's historical, and it's just one of those stories that felt really epic and just beautiful, and the characters were so real and so, I don't know, like, just some characters have just something extra, you know, to them that you just grow so attached to, and I really did with these characters, and so that book really stayed with me, but it does feel like I read it in 2010 and not in 2021.
I feel like you mentioned it, like, when we first started this podcast, but that's a lie.
Right? That's a lie. It feels that way. I know.
Did you end up watching the movie?
I did not.
Is that a goal for you in this year?
If that was a goal of mine? No, I don't particularly feel like watching that movie. No.
Okay.
I will say, I started my 2022 with watching a TV show.
I kind of saw that.
They say begin as you mean to go on, I guess.
I kind of saw that. Discovery of Witches?
Yeah, I binged the first season of A Discovery of Witches,
Oh, how did you like it?
I liked it. The first 5 episodes, it was like, okay, yeah, this is like giving me old school vampires. Like he's a professor, which I'm kind of in my kink now on that front. Like I just want the professors now.
It was Twilight.
But it's like Twilight, but for adults and without the sparkly, stupid vampires.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I was really into him. Okay, first 5 episodes, and then for whatever reason, the last I can't count the last 3. I don't know, they were not as good for me, and then like the cliche aspects of it, which it's cheesy from the start, but like the cliche stuff started becoming like a little too obvious to just overlook. But yeah, I'm still like probably gonna watch season 2. It's just not available on the platform that I was watching it on yet, but when it is, then I'll probably binge that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And season 3 is coming out soon. I think this next week. I don't know when it's starting.
At some point in January, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my list. No monster dicks actually, but if you want some
Kinda
monster
shocked.
dicks, Rex,
Right.
just fucking, again, like I cannot stress enough, just go fucking listen to our Catch Up and Chills. You will have plenty of monster dicks in there.
Or our Smutmas episode if you want some Christmas themed monster dicks.
Right, yeah.
We have a rating scale and everything, so feel free to go listen.
Someone said we were an erotica podcast.
I
was
saw.
like, huh?
Really?
Huh? The true erotica podcast.
I feel like we've
right
made
here.
it now, you know? We're labeled as an erotica podcast, and
But like, I don't want to disappoint people. Like that's kind of
I
untrue.
know.
But like,
we do talk about dick, but like not as often as I would think an erotica podcast would talk about dick.
yeah, and like we're very scientific about it. Okay, we go
Yeah.
into the logistics of it, and not necessarily like what's happening.
Yeah. We go into like the functionality of said appendage.
The anatomy of it all. You know, it's very interesting, very important work. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
What's on your list?
So the first book on my list is going to be
Twilight. I'm kidding.
Let it go, Seff. It's not gonna happen. No, the first book on my list is The Invisible Life of Addie Laru
Oh yeah.
by B.E. Schwab. Yeah, I freaking love this book. When I was making my list last night, like I pulled out the book and I started reading quotes. And I just want to reread it. I want to go back and reread it.
See, that feels like you read that in 2020.
Yeah. So basically the book is just about a girl that wants more out of her life. She's being forced to marry this widow that he has kids and he needs a wife, and she's being forced. And she basically wants
What?
what?
I just realized you said she's forced to marry a widow, and I went, and then I realized, like, no, not in a good way, Marge. Not in a good way.
Not in this case. So she wants more out of life, and she ends up praying to like the goddess of the night, the goddess, a god of the darkness, the devil basically, and she makes a deal. She basically wants more time, she wants more freedom to live her life. So she strikes a deal, and in exchange, she gets to live forever, but everybody she meets from then on forgets about her. So she can't leave her mark in the world. And that kind of like throughout the years takes a toll on her. And I just freaking love this book. I love the writing. It's very like, it feels like poetry. And I love the devil, the main, well, I won't say he's the main one because there's another guy in the book, but he's very delicious, the devil, Luke.
As he should be.
Yeah.
I know.
This is a Satan stan account.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking incredible. But yeah, I mean, I recommend it. It's a good story. It's a good book. I really want to read more books by this author this upcoming year. And I noticed that this is one of the books that I noticed last year that it's either like a hit or miss with people. So I hope it's a hit for you whenever you decide to read it.
I hope so too. I just like, for some reason, I tend to stay away from books that are very popular on TikTok. And this book had its
As
time.
you should.
I mean, to be honest, there are books that I enjoyed that I read that I got, recommended from TikTok. There are books there, but I mean, from Blood and Ash, I feel like it was just so talked about, but like I didn't enjoy it as, a lot of people did. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is going to be one where it works out and it's a hit.
Yeah. And I think it's like far away from like I feel like my dad's, is he outside? I feel cutting the grass. Can you hear? I feel my little
Probably.
mark thing is going crazy.
It's the fourth host of this podcast at this point.
It's her dad's lawnmower.
She's got something to say, Ash. Let her be.
Not when and it's always right when I start as well. When I start talking, I start hearing the fucking lawnmower.
Oh, now I hear it.
I hear it, yeah, I hear it now.
It's ambiance, everyone. Just enjoy the ambiance.
So for my second thing on my list, it's actually going to be 2 books. I lumped them together because I feel like they go well together. So y'all know that I love my psychotic and sociopathic heroes.
Yes, we do.
Huge lover here.
Yes.
And I cannot not add these books on my list because they're just amazing. And yeah, so it's basically
We're all waiting.
sorry.
With bated breath.
This feels like a huge reveal now.
I know.
Drum roll,
Sorry.
please.
So if you're in the mood to read about possessive heroes that are assholes, psychotic, that have no remorse for other people's feelings, and
Yes, yes, and yes.
it's Run, Posey, Run by Cate C. Wells, one of them.
Knew it. Yeah.
And then the second one is Bitter Heat by Maya Knight.
Maya Knight. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
These books are so delicious. And I've been on the search for similar books to these where the heroes are just
I feel like you've been on the search your whole life. Girl.
crazy,
I know.
cuckoo in the head. But I feel like there's not a lot of people can write heroes like this where I'm like,
Agreed.
he's psycho, but I still love him. But these ones were amazing. I read them last year, and I wish there was more books like this.
No, I enjoyed Run, Posey, Run when I read it too, but yeah, I can't say that I've come across a book like that.
Like, how obsessive are we talking here? Like, how dark and delicious?
Like for Dario from Run, Posey, Run, he wants to have her killed, but he wants to be the one to kill her and no one else.
Yeah. And she flees, and he's trying to find her.
Yeah.
Because he realizes he made a mistake, but, like, he still wants to own her.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we love Satan so much, because we're going straight to hell.
Yeah.
Hey, hell looks like a party, guys. See y'all there. And then, sorry, what is Bitter Heat about? I don't think I've ever heard you talk about it.
Yeah, she mentioned it on the Catch Up and Chill, girl.
Yeah.
Were you not listening?
I listened, but I have a bad memory.
That was the most recent one, too,
This was my coming back book from...
Right, from sickness.
from that era of my life.
Okay. I think I vaguely remember, guys. But I'm telling you.
So he's basically a businessman. He falls in love with his daughter, where her family is like, they have like this well-known like empire. I'm trying to remember. Something happens where hold on, let me go back.
It's the mower for me. It's the lawnmower in the background for me.
It's distracting. This is the one with the cabin where I thought it was like a...
Yeah. And they're trying to get divorced, right?
Yeah.
She wants to divorce him.
She wants to divorce him, but he doesn't want to. But she forces his hand and gets her dad to get them to divorce. So her dad is now dead, and he comes back into her life and like tries to like possess her and like...
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember you talking about
delicious.
it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm adding that one to my list too.
Yes,
Thank you.
Please. Thank you.
It should have
very
been
much.
already, because
Exactly.
pretty sure if we roll back that episode, you probably said like, "Oh my god, I'm reading that next."
Can you shut the fuck up and let me live, Marge?
I'm reading that next.
Like she does for every single book.
Moving on, Ass, what's the next one?
And my last book on my list is Pack Darling, Part 1 by Lola Rock. This is the third time I'm going to mention it. Anyways.
It's her trick, though. The more she mentions it, like, she puts that seed in her brain.
Yes.
And then little by little, she's hooking us.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yes. So, this is a reverse harem. It's an Omega-verse reverse harem. It's a heroine with 5 guys. And basically, it's about Lila, who is an Omega, that doesn't want to be a part of any type of pack. So she does anything in her power to suppress her awakening.
Including dumping herself in chemicals.
Yes! So she does anything in her power to suppress her awakening, but she gets forced to join this pack that already has an Omega, which is a male Omega. And none of the guys want her. They think that she's a gold digger. They think that she's just out to, I guess, tear them down, take their money, get in the way of what they already have, which is a male Omega that supposedly they love. Anyways, they're downright awful to her. But one of the things that I love about her is that she's able to hold her own. She takes no shit. She kind of befriends the male Omega. And a lot of stuff happens. But one of the things that I told the girls earlier last year was at the
You're really
end.
exposing how messed up we are right now.
Right. Do we want to tell them that, though?
Should I mention it? It's a fucked up ending. Like, it's really bad. Like, it's like chemicals are involved and like it's
Just say it. At this point, just say it.
so at the end of the book,
Spoiler if you haven't read the
Spoiler.
book and you want to.
Right.
at the end of the book, both the Omegas, the male and the female, they go in heat, and all the alphas kind of join in and like grab the male Omega, and they take him to a room, and they help him through his heat. And this girl has gone through so much already throughout the book, and she already has formed some type of friendship with the guys. She thinks that they're going to help her with her heat. So she lives down in the basement. She drags herself all the way upstairs to where they have their like the Omega's nest, where they have their orgy thing or whatever. She drags herself up there, and she kind of asks them for help with her heat, and they tell her off. They tell her to leave, that they don't care about her, and all their focus is on the male Omega. So this girl is in pain. Like, she has years of suppressing her heat, and like it's coming on like full force. So what does she do? She drags herself downstairs, down to the basement. She gets like this. She gets this like big barrel of. She gets this barrel and she fills it with chemicals, and she drowns herself in this barrel for like 2-3 days to help her through her heat. which is horrible.
2-3 days.
Yeah.
Are they immortal? Is that why she doesn't die from all the chemicals?
No?
Like, wouldn't she get chemical burns and like?
Well, I mean, and I think in this case, like, would you rather go through chemical burns or go through like the pain of like your heat and not? I don't know.
I guess that says a lot about how painful it is, because
Yeah.
chemical burns, I imagine, are
Awful.
Yeah.
just as awful as getting actually burned, probably.
Yeah.
Like, burned alive. So.
Okay, listen, I am involved and like invested with the grovel that I hope we get.
And
right.
And that's what I'm hoping for the next book, that we get like amazing grovel. Like,
I think honestly book 2 would have it. I see people like the author asks, "What are you most looking forward to in book 2?" And then everyone's like, "The grovel." So like I would hope she would do that.
But can she write good grovel? You know, a lot of authors can think that they're writing good grovel, but are they?
Can they deliver on the grovel?
Devil's advocate over here, Marge. I'm going to read Pack Darling Part 1. I know I've been saying it, but I will say it because now book 2 is coming out really soon, right?
So I'm sure S will mention it for a 4th time in her next Catch Up and Chill first one of 2022.
This will be the last time I mention these books, so.
Will it, though?
Yeah.
Is it just 2 books? Is it just two books in that
Yeah.
series? Oh, okay. You know what? I like that. I like authors that don't like fucking go on for 8 billion books when it's not needed.
Yeah.
If it's
Agreed.
a 2-book series, then make it a 2-book series. Don't need to make it a 4-book series.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Was that your list? Your
That's
whole
it.
list?
That was my list.
All right. Well, let me ask you what I asked Seff. How was your reading year in 2021?
I want to say it was good. And I want to say thanks to the podcast, because I feel like if I didn't have the podcast, I don't think I would have been reading a lot. And I read a lot of books that I didn't expect to be reading. Like, I read a whole shit ton of historical romance. And that's not something that I was doing before.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think I read pretty well. My reading was pretty. I read over 100 books, so that's saying something. I think the previous year, I think I only read up to like 80 books, I want to say.
I find the same for me. Like, you would think that having a podcast would mean I would be reading less. But actually, it's pushing me to read more. In a good way, though. Not in like a, I feel pressured way. Like, just in a, I'm actually really enjoying what I'm reading, because I'm also reading these other books that I actually feel like I have to read for something. So then I find more joy in reading for my own pleasure. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned historical romance. I just hold the fuck on. How is Devil in Winter not on your fucking list, S?
I don't know. She's really coming for us, Seff.
Right?
S! I was gonna say I didn't put them on mine because obviously they were rereads, but like it happened one autumn, and Devil in Winter were 5 stars.
Devil in Winter, yeah, it was 5 stars, and it was amazing. And you should read Lisa Kleypa's The Wallflower series.
She's trying to save her own ass right now.
Yeah.
Listen, this woman right there, she just showed her true colors. She does not deserve Sebastian St. Vincent.
No,
okay?
stop.
She
Stop
forgot
it.
about
Well, you don't
him.
deserve Rowan Whitethorn, so.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Yes, please tell us how amazing Devil in Winter was. Please.
It was amazing.
Please.
I think
Redeem
it was,
yourself.
I think it was my only 5 stars. Like,
And it wasn't on your list.
On your fucking list?
but that's the thing.
Girl.
I had like 13 things of like 5 stars on my list. So I narrowed it down completely.
And then you chose to ignore Sebastian St. Vincent.
He's half mine, just FYI. Just putting that out there.
Moving on to lists of things we're excited about in 2022. Let the year begin. Let the excitement begin.
This is going to be pretty short. We're just listing them, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing on my list, well, I cannot speak. The first thing on my list is the second Crescent City book, House
It's
of
on
Sky
mine
and Breath.
too.
Is that what it's called? House of Breath and Sky?
I don't fucking know. Crescent City too.
Anyways, the next book with Hunt on the cover. I'm excited for that because I read the first one and I like where it ended off and I'm ready for it. The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen, which I'm pretty sure is on your list as well. The next Horde Kings of Dakar by Zoe Draven. I'm sure that's coming out this month in January, if not February.
Nice.
She's about 86% done writing, and she's usually quick with like releasing it. So that one's really high on my list. And I also have Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. That's coming out in March, and it sounds like a fun ride. We've got, I think, fake dating and like aunties putting the people together. I don't know. One of them doesn't believe in love, which I believe it's the girl, and he has a talk show, I believe, about love, and Dr. Dill, so like Dill means heart. So I'm really excited for that one. Next on my list, Run Riot by Colette Rhodes. It's already out, but I want to read it. Next is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. So this is the author of The Fine Print. And this is the second book in the series, which is coming out sometime this year. It's an office romance, marriage of convenience with a side of pregnancy, maybe, possibly, because he needs to have a baby to get his inheritance from his grandfather.
I love those plots.
Right? And like she's like his assistant, and like you see them and their dynamic in the first book, but like I'm excited to see what they're like in their own book. And last on my list, which I'm pretty sure is on your list as well, Marge, Called to the Deep by Desiree M. Nicoli, and it is a...
Oh, it wasn't, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it, and it's about a siren. She eats, men.
People.
She's evil. She eats men.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited. The romance is between a captain, like a sea captain, and a siren, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and that's a debut novel.
Yes.
So... gotta give it some love. All right, do you want me to go next? Okay, so first one on my list is This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. Obviously, I loved her Shadow Me series, but this series has me really intrigued. It's like a Persian-inspired fantasy world with, between like really powerful families, and like she kind of pitched it as like a little bit of Bridgerton, and then like probably because the familial aspect of it, but then like a lot of drama and a lot of romance and forbidden romance, enemies to lovers, and then like Tahara Mafi does like a little bit of steam in her books. Nothing like, it's not erotica or anything, but like she gives you what you need to get. So I'm real excited for that one. Crescent City you mentioned. Obviously, I also have Soul Taken by Patricia Briggs, which is, like book 14, I think, in the Mercy Thompson series.
Is she ending that series anytime soon, or is it just...
I don't think she is, but to be honest, I'm not complaining. I miss these characters, and so I'm very excited to be reunited with Mercy and the crew and Adam, sexy ass Adam. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. I also have Under One Roof Below Zero and Stuck With You, all by Ali Hazelwood. So it's like a collection of little, like a trilogy of little novellas with like, tropes and stuff, and that just sounds really fun to me. I love my novellas, so I'm looking forward to that. The covers are super cute. I also have Ruby Fever by Ilona Andrews, which is the third book in the Catalina Baylor series, which another blast from the past that it feels like that was 50 years ago that I mentioned these books. But yes, so I think they took like a 2-year break from that series, but the third book in Catalina's story is finally releasing with the sexy ass Alessandro. So I am very much looking forward to that, more of that, for sure. I also have The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert.
I forgot about that.
It's on my list too.
I'm quite excited for that, to see what she does with like proper monster romance, like a full-length monster romance.
And I'm excited for that cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous cover.
Yeah. The old school cover renaissance, here for it.
Yeah.
I also have The Muse by Emma Scott, which is the second book in, I don't actually know what the series is called, but it's the sequel, if you will, to The Sinner.
Oh, yes.
But this one is about different characters, and it's like MM, and it's, you know, obviously one of them is a demon, and then the other one is a human. So I don't know. I'm quite intrigued in that book. The Inadequate Heir you mentioned, and then obviously Lisa Kleypas's next novel, which we do not know what it is, but I put it on my list because like we haven't heard anything, and I'm getting a little bit stressed that we do not have a new Lisa Kleypas book coming this year. So I put it there because I was like, I'm gonna put it in the universe.
maybe she's aiming for another summer release here. I know we're used to February releases, but maybe it's a summer release this year.
I don't know, but I'm stressed about it. But you know what? If we don't get a book because actually they've been working on a TV show.
I'm okay with that.
A Wallflower TV show.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll be okay.
No.
I don't
she's
know.
just hoping.
Oh, I was about to say, why the hell didn't you
dreaming,
mention
girl.
this before?
I would be screaming it off the roof,
Yeah.
like rooftops.
Right, yeah.
If we were getting that.
Yeah. The world will literally implode. Like, I don't think the world could handle. But then again, nobody could ever be Sebastian St. Vincent, so maybe I don't want this, you know?
I think the fact that I already have like Westcliff fan casted in my head, I'm okay.
Wait, who?
But they need to make sure that it's him, Luke Evans.
Ooh.
Wait, who's Luke Evans? Let me Google real quick.
He's who I see as Westcliff, and it won't change. So like maybe the fact that I have him in my head, and they decide to make a TV show and he's not casted,
Oh, okay. I can see that.
then I'm gonna be heartbroken.
And lastly, of course, 2022, March 25th. What happens?
Bridgerton season 2.
So yeah, obviously my list could not be finished without that on it because I'm obviously very excited for season 2 of Bridgerton, Cate and Anthony's story. You know, if you're interested in hearing what we have to say about the series, we have 2 episodes on the TV show, and then we also did a whole episode on The Viscount Who Loved Me, the book. So feel free to go and listen to that, hear what we have to say, what we're excited for, what we hope to see in the series, and then obviously you can expect a thorough conversation about these episodes, this new season when it releases. So and that's it. That's my 2022 list. But you know what? There's a lot on there, and I'm actually looking at 22. Well, I said that really weird. 2022. With a lot of excitement, which I feel like going into 2020, I wasn't feeling. I was like, nothing's fucking releasing this year. And then 2021, I was kind of still like blasé about what was coming out. And then I feel like this year, I'm like, no, I've got like stuff to look forward to. Like, yeah, I've discovered new series and new to me authors, and now like I'm like excited to see what they've got coming. So
Yeah.
it's a great way to start a year.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm excited for this year.
My list, I have The Dragon's Bride as well. You mentioned it, by Katie Robert. I'm really looking forward to Force Bonds and the rest of the Bonds That Tie series by J. Bree. Force Bonds comes out in March.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
A lot of things are coming out in March, guys. A lot of things. Wow.
Pack Darling Part 2 comes out in like about 2 weeks. So I'm excited for that.
Counting down the days over there.
Yeah, literally.
Finally.
Wild Game, which is the 3rd book in the State of Grace series by Colette Rhodes. It's
okay, so the Run Riot thing. Okay.
That comes out in June. And then I'm putting this out in the universe, the 2nd book to Bitter Heat, which is Bitter Secrets. And then there's The Long Game, which is the sequel to Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed.
Ooh.
The hockey one. The hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
so I
it
just
MM?
found out it's MM.
The MM one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I found out that there was going to be a sequel to that. That's releasing.
With the same character?
With the same 2 characters.
Oh.
Ooh, so she's pulling like a him us thing.
It seems like it,
Here.
yeah. And it's the 6th book in that series. And that comes out in April.
Is the whole series MM?
The whole series is MM, yeah. Another Omega verse harem, Hidden Heat by MJ Marston. That comes out in May. And then I also have The Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. That comes out in February. And then lastly, this is a book that I discovered on TikTok. This author made like a video of like her writing a certain story, and she wanted to see if anybody was interested. And it caught my attention. It's called Light Lark by Alex Astor. So it's about a cursed island that only appears every 100 years to host a game that gives 6 rulers a chance to break their curses. Each realm's curse is deadly, and to break them, one of the 6 rulers must die. And then apparently, I guess it's going to be a love triangle with a dark-haired, morally gray character who is obsessed with the girl, and then a king who wants to kill her.
Ooh, I vote for the king.
No, I think it's the morally gray, obsessed character for me.
No. I vote king that wants to kill her. That's who I'm rooting for in these games.
So I'll be sure to send you like the little videos that she's made on TikTok to kind of hype up everybody. Yeah, so I believe she got signed. She found a publisher.
Oh,
so it
that's
should
awesome.
I'm hoping it releases this year.
Okay.
So I'll be sending that your way just to kind of see if it's something girls want to add to your TBR.
I also quickly forgot to... Oh, sorry, you're not done yet. Go ahead.
No, real quick, just lastly, Euphoria. The second season comes out. The show comes out in like, I think Sunday or something like that.
Oh, wow. Soon.
Oh,
Great.
okay. Quickly, I didn't mention Monroe by Cressley Cole, and I'm really excited for it, and I totally forgot to mention Monroe, which we will have an episode when it comes out. Yeah. So
you know what's funny? When I was looking through my list, I saw that Dreams of a Dark Warrior was this year. And then I was like, no, I literally cannot put that book on my list because it literally feels like 2020. Like, I do not want to put that on my list. But that was 2021, and let it be known.
Yeah.
I did love it. So Declan Chase can still fucking own my ass. Anyways.
Yeah, and that's it.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you found a couple recs for yourself. If you want to let us know what you're looking forward to in 2022, if you got books that you think we would love to have your recs as well. Not that my TBR needs to become any bigger than it is, but I will always add good books to my TBR. So if you want to reach us, you can find us on Twitter at the RTM Pod, as well as on Instagram at Romancing the Monsters Podcast. You can also email us at romancingthemonsterspodcast@gmail.com. And we are also on YouTube. So just search for the name of our podcast and you should be able to find us. And while you're there, it's free to subscribe. So if you're cheap like me, then there you go. The subscribe button's free, but only if we've earned it. So yeah. If you're looking for me specifically, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at But This Book.
You can find me, Seff, on both Instagram and Twitter at Pose with Woes. And also, continuing on with what Marge said, if you also feel like leaving a rating or review on any of the podcast platforms, I think you can only leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
No, you can do Spotify now.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I didn't know that either. Well, yeah, anyways, so you can rate or review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please feel free to do so if you would like to.
Happy 2022 to all of you. We wish you the best of books coming your way.
Yes.
We hope you'll have tons of amazing reads and 5 stars and books that will make you cry, because that's what we love. Let's start this one positively and not with the negative attitude that S was having on Twitter today.
Happy reading, guys.
And that's it. See you next week, guys.
Bye.